Can you live without essential oils? I know I can't, but the question is, can we live without essential oils? And if the answer is no, then you got to let me know in the comments below or in the chat. I am really excited to do this presentation. I think that essential oils really help all of our body systems. You may be hearing differently from different doctors or some of your friends, but today's the day to find out, can we live without essential oils? So I'm going to turn it over and we're going to get started right away. So let's talk first about what essential oils are. I know that many of you are experienced essential oil users. You don't really need a background so far, or not a big background, but let me just fill you in a little bit. We all know that they are plant compounds and they are very easily and readily absorbed by the body. That's what makes them so effective. When we talk about essential oils, we're talking about these micromolecules that can be easily absorbed into the body, and they can affect things like mood or even our digestive processes. So if you haven't used essential oils, and you're thinking to yourself, can I live without them? Yeah, I can. You are wrong. I'm here to tell you, if you are using essential oils, you know for a fact that you can't live without them. And I'm going to talk about each and every one of the body systems and how you can be affected easily and how you can effectively use essential oils for your own health. So let's get started. I've got a couple of things that I want to share with you. When you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up. That's always my good indication that I'm doing okay today. Talking today about body systems, and you can't live without essential oils. So I know I have been one of these people who just loves essential oils, but maybe doesn't, I don't know, hasn't thought that much about, well, if I had to live without them, could I? And I think it's something that maybe has crossed my mind from time to time, but I think it's more important that we figure out whether you can live without essential oils, because really that's the most important thing. So we can't live without our body systems, right? But can our body systems live without essential oils? So number one on the hit parade, let's talk a little bit about the different systems. So we've got different systems in our body. And I'm going to go through the 5 major systems, I think, and talk to you about how essential oils can help each one of those systems and why you need them for each and every one of your systems if you're trying to stay healthy. Now, this time in our world, there's a lot of things going on, as we know, and we're looking out and we're praying for people in Afghanistan and Haiti, the people that are in the path of Hurricane Ida. This is a very trying time for many people around the world. So I'm not minimizing what people are going through or even thinking for a minute that this is going to be some sort of panacea. But I do know that dōTERRA essential oils is actively in the process of sending help and aid, specifically in the form of essential oils and other products to help people around the world that are really in trouble. I know yesterday I was watching a video of a whole shipment being sent out to Nepal, where some people are struggling, and then as a U.S. outreach, if you will, to kind of create goodwill, and also to make sure that people who are in need have the products and the things that they need to stay healthy. So our first body system that we're going to talk about today is the circulatory system. Really important. We need the circulatory system for just about everything that we do. It's made up primarily of the heart, lungs, and blood vessels, which work in harmony to pump blood all over the body. And the organs must interact smoothly to enable the body to function properly. And as such, anything which aids this smooth operation is definitely considered a positive circulatory aid. So if you had something that would assist you with your circulatory system, ding, essential oils, the answer is yes, you would want to make sure that you had that thing and that you're using it all the time. As you could imagine, optimum heart health has many requirements, one of which is maintaining low blood pressure or blood pressure in a healthy range. I don't want to say low because too low obviously can be dangerous, but good with good activity levels and a healthy circulatory system. While we've been brainwashed with heart healthy medications and thinking that that may be the way for us to maintain our blood pressure in a normal range, there really are natural ways that you can use your God's gifts, if you will, to keep our blood pressure in a well-managed range. One of the biggest ways is to make sure that we're getting good nutrition. Plant-based nutrition in general is one of the biggest ways that we can keep our bodies healthy and make sure that we're getting the vital phytonutrients that we need. I love XC Omega specifically because it's essential oil, omega-3 fatty acid. It does come in a vegan version that I've just started taking and that I really, really like. It assists us with our circulatory system. Wonderful support for the brain. We love our Microplex VMZ and we all VMZ, sorry, a little bit of a goof there, and our Mito to Max, because those are the products that keep us running every day. So if I were going to choose 3 products that I had to use, or at least 2 for my circulatory system, I would be choosing my LLV and my Mito to Max. Now, when we talk about essential oils, we can also talk about the oil of fennel. Now, I had somebody call me the other day and say to me, I don't love fennel. Don't love the way it smells, and I don't know how I'm going to use it. Okay, so here I am to talk a little bit about fennel. Fennel is a wonderful aid for the circulatory system. You can apply it to the feet. You can apply it right over the heart. You can apply it over your digestive organs. It does support the digestive system, and many people think of fennel in general as an aid to their digestive system, but I'm going to tell you that it is actually a wonderful aid also for your circulatory system and for any inflammation that you may be having. So if you know anyone who maybe has ankles that tend to get a little bit swollen from time to time, that's the time to apply your fennel essential oil. Many breastfeeding ladies have used it, I know, with great success. It does work as a stimulant for breast milk, but if you are pregnant, you might want to step away from your fennel for a little while because you're not quite ready to breastfeed, but it is a safe essential oil. So make sure that you're using your fennel oil. And a shout out to my friend Sangui, who mentioned this to me. I would definitely put my fennel oil into rotation. So of course you want to stay active. Your activity levels and your physical exercise can 100% boost your circulation if you're getting at least about 30 minutes per day. I think the daily or the weekly recommended minimums for exercise are about 150 minutes per week, which winds up being about 30 minutes 5 times per week, which not too bad, right? It could be worse. I've heard up to about 90 minutes a day, which is quite a lot. If you're doing 90 minutes a day, congratulations, my hat's off to you. I'm not getting up to 90 minutes a day. I try to get in and out of the gym in about, I would say 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes a little over an hour. I've got some extra time, but I don't like to hang out there too much because then my whole day is gone, right? And I still have to get home and shower and change my clothes and so on. And you can see I have a regular blouse on right now. I'm not quite ready to go to the gym, but I'm going to go a little bit later. So if you are also taking oils like cinnamon bark, cassia, marjoram, or copaiba internally, they may have the ability to boost cardiovascular functionality. So we're going to talk about this in the next couple of posts, but keep those 4 oils in mind. So let's first talk about cinnamon bark. So cinnamon bark has been used for centuries. It was used originally for embalming, which is, I guess, is no surprise because it does have a very strong and potent sense. It's still used in many Ayurvedic practices. It's to reduce inflammation, ease joint pain, reduce symptoms of headaches, and poor digestion. I like to use cinnamon bark for all of those, but we also want to consider it as an aid for our circulatory system. Now, you don't want to make sure you're not rubbing cinnamon oil all over your entire body. I can just imagine what that would feel like. You want to make sure that you're diluting your cinnamon oil because it is a hot oil, right? So, you know, it can raise your temperature, but it also can make your skin feel very, very uncomfortable. So make sure you are diluting your cinnamon oil. I would probably be diluting it at least 1 drop oil to 1 drop fractionated coconut oil, but you could be diluting it even more if you want to, up to 5 drops and 1 drop of cinnamon oil. If it's something that you want to use on a regular basis, consider taking a 5 milliliter bottle of cinnamon bark oil, dropping it into a roller bottle. They're usually about 10 milliliters, more or less, filling the rest with fractionated coconut oil, giving it a good shake, and then using that on a daily basis if that's something you really want to include in your regimen. That type of a roll-on could be used over your heart, on the soles of your feet, or any of your pulse points. You could also include cinnamon bark in your diet by adding it to everyday recipes like oatmeals or teas, or any sort of punch or apple cider. I really like adding I like adding cinnamon bark to apple cider. It's one of my favorite things to do. And if you've ever had fresh apple cider during this time of the year, you know that it is really a treat. I don't drink apple juice. So the difference between apple cider and apple juice is that when we look at apple juice, it's completely clear and see-through. That's juice. Cider is that cloudy one that looks kind of brown, almost looks a little weird, but it is so incredibly healthy. And if you want to drink small amounts of it, not big amounts of juice, juice is never a great thing. We don't want to drink tons of juice, it has a lot of sugar, and we could honestly get better effects from just eating a whole apple. But if you want to drink a little bit of apple cider now, especially in the fall when it's becoming available in most parts of the United States, at least, try it with some of the with the recipe that I just posted in the chat. Another one of the 5 body systems that we want to make sure that we're keeping healthy is our reproductive system. So a reproductive system, obviously, this lady is pregnant. Not all of us are going to, oops, I forgot to move forward. I'm sorry. Reproductive health. Human body, fascinating, right? The human body is just so cool. We tend to think of it as different body parts that are all disconnected. Part of that has to do with doctors being trained in a certain way. We have a lot of doctors now that are specialists. And when we go for one body part, whether it's our respiratory system or our reproductive system or our cardiovascular system, it's usually a single doctor. But the reality is it's one huge mechanism that works together. So it's fascinating. Every time I think of the human body, I'm just fascinated by it and how many things really work together, right? So multitudes of reactions, processes, healing mechanisms, all taking place every second of our lives, particularly though for women. Our reproductive system is something that requires a lot of balance and regulation, specifically because of hormone regulation. Now, whether you are of childbearing age or not, you still need your hormones. I've talked about this before, and my goofy idea, I would say more than 15 years ago. So I think I've learned my lesson by now, is that I didn't need my hormones because I had already had my children, but I know now that you need your hormones for just about everything. So oils like jasmine, thyme, neroli, rose, geranium, all really great options when you want to make sure to promote optimum reproductive functionality. And I'm going to type those names right in the chat so you can take a look at them. I'm going to talk about just one of those essential oils, and I hope this is your favorite because honestly, hands down, this is my favorite. Rose, right? We absolutely love rose. It takes 242,000 rose petals to prepare even one of those tiny little 5 milliliter rose essential oil bottles. Tell me in the chat, have you sprung for the 5 milliliter or are you using the rose roll-on? I really want to hear. So let me know, my friends, have you used it before? And I can see some of your smiling faces. I want to know what's going on. Are you a rose lover or you're not a rose lover? I think everybody's a rose lover, right? Even our gentlemen who are on here. What smells better than roses, really? But let me know, are you, have you sprung for the little 5 milliliter or are you using the roll-on? No judgment. They're both good. I use them both interchangeably. One of the things that I love about roses and rose petals in particular, terrific to promote good reproductive health. Rose is an extremely healing oil. You can apply it to the skin whenever you have any sort of skin blemish or discomfort. Rose is also thermogenic. So if you have difficulty with maintaining your body temperature or keeping yourself at a static state, if you're constantly feeling like my fingers are cold or my feet are cold, maybe you don't have the circulation that you wish, rose is a wonderful addition to your daily routine. Eliana tells me Rose Touch smells so good. Narina says rose is a bit strong for me. Narina, try using the rose roll-on or maybe blending it with someone else. Sihan says yes, and the 5 milliliter rose is definitely my favorite. Yes, I was one of those people who was just doing a dance of celebration when I heard about the rose, 5 milliliter rose coming out. I have to say, years ago, I was at a dinner and Dr. Hill showed up. It was one of the team dinners after or during convention, before we had rose roll on and before we had the 5 milliliter rose. And he said, just off the cuff, and we're looking forward to some wonderful new essential oils coming out, including ones that I know that you've been waiting for. And I raised my hand and I said, are we going to see rose? And he said, can't say, but that kind of meant yes, right? It took about another year or so, but yes, we have absolutely seen rose, and it's one of my personal favorites. Ashley says that she applies Rose Touch on her face, and Ida says she's used rose roll-on and frankincense. Yeah, great. And I bet you, Ashley, I'm sorry, Ida, you must have beautiful skin, because those two oils together are really the 1-2 punch of maintaining beautiful skin. Okay, let's talk next about our immune system. And if anybody was doubting before, are you now becoming convinced that you cannot live without essential oils? We've talked about 2 body systems already, where really being without essential oils would be crummy. It would be, I don't know, a very just impoverished existence. I think if I didn't have my essential oils, I wouldn't be so peppy every day. I'd be a little, I don't know, I'd be more droopy. Okay, let's talk about our immune system. Very important now, as we know, we want to improve or maintain our immune health. We've got our On Guard products here, specifically our On Guard essential oil and our protecting throat drops. It's, as we know, our immune system is a vital component of good overall physical health. And it blocks, as we block physical threats or potential threats in the form of infectious bacteria, toxins, and external dangers, we keep a strong immune system, which means strengthen ourselves to fight against those threats at short notice if and when they arise. Now, I have to say, knock wood, I've been super lucky or super blessed, as it would, over the last year and a half to really have not had any sort of colds or flus or anything. I've been most of the time in my house, like most of you, and wearing a mask when I go out, also using my essential oils on a regular basis, whether it's spraying our On Guard disinfectant spray on my hands or using it in the diffuser. I've been diligent about making sure that I'm using essential oils on a daily basis, really on an hourly basis. And if I go through, and if you go back and look at some of our earlier presentations, you can check them right here on YouTube. Well, I've talked a lot about 24 drops in 24 hours. That was one of the presentations I think I did either 2 or 3 weeks ago. So take a look down below and you can see what that was all about. So tissues, cells, and small organs produce white blood cells, which are central to the main line of defense for the immune system. Through internal use, essential oils and nutritional supplements can help to promote the immune system and strengthen the production of these cells. So my go-to oils for strengthening my immune system, in addition to On Guard blend, are lemon, tea tree, thyme, cinnamon bark, and wild orange. And all of those can be used internally. If you have any essential oils that you use to boost your immune system, please tell me about them in the chat, because I'd really like to hear about them. Eliana says that she feels odd without using her roller ball blends daily. Yeah, absolutely. I keep mine in my purse or my car, and I have my roller bottles, boom, right at hand, so I can use them whenever I need them. For me, I don't have Rose usually in my car, but I do keep things like Adaptive or On Guard in my car and in my purse at all times. So if you're using an essential oil on a regular basis, or you've got something that you want to tell me about immune boosting that's not on this list, I'd love to hear it. Let me get a drink of water here. Actually, I'm drinking cold coffee again. You can see I've got my giant coffee mug, and I'm using this one because it's hot and the coffee's cold, and otherwise it perspires all over the place and makes a big mess. So we know that On Guard is a unique product that can that is gives us immunosupport, right? And contains things like the cinnamon that we talked about before, plus wild orange and eucalyptus. It can be cleansing, purifying, strengthening, all for the immune system. I use my On Guard really all the time. It is my go-to oil. I use it for everything from cleaning to purifying. It's on daily rotation in my house. Let's go on to our next body system. So we've gone through 3. Tell me if you're convinced in the chat. Can you live without essential oils? For those of you who are listening on YouTube, if you haven't used essential oils before, got to know the answer. Can you live without them, or you can't live without them? I know you may be thinking, yeah, I can live without that. But honestly, how well are you living without essential oils? That's the real trick, right? Okay, now let's talk a little bit about our soles of our feet. Now, I have heard it said that the largest pores of our body are on the soles of our feet. And I know that was a common myth before. That is actually not true. All of our pores are more or less the same size. Why do we put essential oils on our feet? Because the soles of our feet, the skin of the soles of our feet is less sensitive. So if you're going to put on a hot oil, we've got a couple of oils here in the picture, none of which are hot. But if you're going to put your cinnamon oil or your On Guard oil anywhere, especially on a child, I'd want to put it on the soles of their feet, especially to test whether or not they're feeling sensitive. Because the other thing is, it's very easy to stick a foot into a bath or even a sink and get it washed off as quickly as possible, or put some fractionated coconut oil and put a sock on it so that it'll absorb more quickly and not feel hot and spicy. But if we put essential oils on a child's chest or back and they're hot and spicy, then what do we have? We have a hot mess, and literally hot. Ida says, I can't live without my essential oils, and I've stopped taking doctor's tablets for almost a year. Wow, Ida, that's big news. Anybody else had remarkable results using essential oils? I know some of you are old pros at using essential oils, been using them for 5, 10, 15 years, some of them even more. But honestly, even if you're you're a real veteran, you've been using essential oils for a long time, tell me in the chat, could you really live without essential oils? I want to say, no, you can't. So let's talk about soles of the feet for immune strength. As we know, our essential oils are a plant's defense mechanism against disease. So it makes sense that they do the same for us when they're applied correctly. There are lots of ways for us to ingest essential oils and boost our immunity at the same time. Well, of course, because it's called aromatherapy, right? Our number one booster can be through aroma. Put it on our hands, cup the hands over our nose and mouth and breathe in. Put them into a bowl of hot water and put a towel over our head and breathe in the vapor. And of course, use your diffusers again and again and again. When applied sparingly, undiluted oils, even for children, like clove, lemon, eucalyptus, and lavender, are absorbed into the bloodstream within 20 minutes and get to a cellular level between 7 and 24 hours. It's important, though, that we make sure that we listen to recommendations about dilution for children. And we've posted in earlier presentations about what are some of the dilution rates that we want to use for children. You can look below if you're on YouTube. Take a look at some of those presentations that we did fairly recently and just scroll through real quickly and you'll find the dilution rates. They are applying to the feet is a very effective method when we're looking to boost our immune system against things like colds or flus or even symptoms, right? We don't necessarily know what we're going to run into, but we do know that we can stay healthier by using the products that we have. Lemon essential oils is one of my go-tos, one of my favorites. I'm adding it to water all the time. And as you know, I've said on this podcast before, I was on this presentation before, that I use it frequently under the tongue, not just in water. So things like lemon, oregano, and thyme added to a veggie cap and taking them alongside with healthy, balanced diet can be a great way to boost the immunity. So tell me in the chat, is there anything that you're using to help your own immunity? So Nazareth says she stopped taking painkillers, interesting, for 6 months because she was using essential oil. And Peggy says she never missed a day without applying essential oils from the scalp to the feet. Love it. And Eliana finally says that she adds oregano into her immunity blend. And I know that's true for many of you. I am not an oregano lover I don't like it. I'm sorry. But if I'm not feeling well, I absolutely use my oregano because I know how good it is. Now, some of you are really bold and use oregano directly on your skin without diluting. That is not me. I'm a wimp that way. Oregano's too strong. I can't put it directly on my skin, but I know the benefits of it and I try to use it whenever possible. It is really a wonderful essential oil. Let's keep talking a little bit more about essential oils. Let's add them now. How about to our, yikes, what's happening here? There we go. Let's add them to our food. If we're adding them to our food, we can still get the benefits of the essential oils. I mentioned adding them to apple cider before. An excellent way to add essential oils because they are not cooked. If you choose to warm the apple cider, you can put the apple cider into a pot. Don't boil it. You just want to kind of warm it up and then add your essential oils. As long as they're not being boiled, they're going to maintain their therapeutic benefits. You want to make sure that they're not getting too hot because the hotter they get, they won't do anything to you. They won't be changed into some other sort of substance, but their therapeutic properties will be diminished. So you don't want that. All of them are cold pressed, remember, or steam distilled. Once they've been steamed out, they shouldn't be steamed and heated all over again. Right? Makes sense. Putting things in a diffuser is wonderful. I use essential oils in things like guacamole or sauces. You can mash the ingredients together, also using them in salad dressings. Whenever you can think to add essential oils, I use a lot of ginger oil that way and lemon oil. I keep a selection of about 10 oils in my kitchen that I use in frequent rotation. And I really do believe that they help with my immune system and with my general health. Another oil that I love to add on a regular basis, terrific for supporting the immune system, is ginger oil. You can add it into teas, you can add it into your cooking or into your baking, and it does give that kind of spicy deliciousness to food. It's also been shown to be a really good support for blood circulation. So consider cooking with essential oils. Next on the hit parade for support and asking the question again, can you live without essential oils? I think the answer is no, is the nervous system. So it's the center of all of our bodily functions. It's the center of communication with nerves sending and receiving messages to and from the brain. This means that a healthy nervous system lets us think clearly, react accordingly, and act in a way that's balanced and manageable, right? We're not like robots. We can have smooth movements. I've probably had some jerky movements here before when I didn't have good internet, but you've all put up with me. You keep coming back, which is a really wonderful thing. Essential oils promote calmness within the nervous system, helping optimize sleep, removing us from the fight or flight mode in which many of us spend probably too much time. They can help to generate a positive mood, more balanced emotions, and they can have the effect both internally and externally. Some of my favorites include basil, lavender, bergamot, and basil. I love the smell of bergamot. Sometimes it's pronounced bergamot, but it is one of my all-time favorites. I use it again and again and again. I love that bright green citrusy color, and I love the smell. To me, it is just intoxicating. If you have a favorite citrus oil, let me know in the chat. I want to hear what it is. We should be drinking or taking citrus oils daily. They are something that, when put into frequent rotation, can provide us with D-limonene, which is a wonderful antioxidant, helping to calm the nervous system and to keep us on an even keel. So if you have a favorite essential oil, a favorite citrus essential oil, and maybe it's bergamot, I don't know, let me know in the chat. We can use citrus essential oils for our nervous system. Obviously, with a healthy, balanced diet and lifestyle, all of these things work together in tandem to give us an overall sense of calmness and stability, reducing feelings of nervous disorders and ensuring the mind and body work at a compatible level and our functionality is good. We want to make sure that our functionality is good. Eliana says lime. Yeah. That's a really good one and great to use in cooking. One of our scientists from dōTERRA Nicole Stevens talks about the importance of sleep all the time and maintaining our overall functionality and how essential oils can help us to achieve better sleep. All of those cues that help us to get to sleep and stay asleep are very often formed throughout the day. Now, if you're a person who tends to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, you may be working against your circadian rhythms, but you may also be putting your nervous system in jeopardy. Try to shift your body clock back until its natural circadian rhythm. We know that for millennia, people rose with the sun and went to sleep when the sun set. Now, I know with the advent of electric lights and every other thing that we have, including computers and phones and everything else that can keep us awake because it's emitting blue light, we are often stimulated to stay up later and later. But in the long run, those things really do affect our nervous system. So begin to work with your circadian rhythms. If you're interested, we can do a whole presentation about essential oils and circadian rhythms, and we should absolutely be doing something on sleep really soon. So if you are a person who in general is feeling nervous or not able to calm yourself down too well, consider, when am I going to bed? When am I getting up in the morning? How well am I sleeping at night? Can I calm my nervous system by using essential oils to keep myself calm, cool, and collected? Got a lot of people in the chat now. Quinny says she loves lemon. Lydia says grapefruit. Lillian says green mandarin. I love green mandarin too. Isn't that a great one? I totally forgot about that one. And UC says wild orange. Yeah, those are some really terrific essential oils. We also want to think about things like tangerine or some of the kumquat oils, because we've had these specials that have come around from time to time. If you see a special with a specialty essential oil, please go ahead and grab it. They only come around from time to time, but they are worth every penny. Let's talk a little bit about feelings of anxiety and essential oils. Granddaddy of them all, absolutely, lavender essential oil. I use lavender like water. We use it for everything. I would say I'm one of these kind of traditionalists. I have my tried and true favorites, like many of you, right? Lavender, lemon, peppermint, of course, my On Guard, as I talked about before, and that, excuse me, I have the things that come in and out of my rotation. My favorites being things like copaiba that I use almost every day, frankincense, of course, bergamot, but then I have things that I want to be able to draw on from time to time. Ida says she loves all of the dōTERRA citrus oils. And Betty says lemon lime in sparkling water, and then it's super refreshing. When we talk about feelings of anxious feelings and an imbalance of the nervous system, it follows that targeting this area with essential oils and that have the ability to soothe symptoms will generate positive effects. Feelings can be caused by a variety of things, such as lack of sleep, which we talked about just before, poor diet, lack of routine, and stressful lifestyle factors. As we've already talked about, essential oils are thought to be helpful for many of these, and oils like lavender are beneficial in this area. A nervous system restorative, lavender really helps to provoke a sense of inner peace. I love lavender peace, known in the US as Serenity. It is, again, one of my go-tos, and I frequently refer people to it when they're feeling anxious or uncertain, or they just want to try to get a good night's sleep. It is one of those oils that, to me, never fails. If you want to know a little bit more about lavender and serotonin levels, I'm actually going to post a quick link in the chat. We all know that keeping our serotonin levels in balance are one of the best ways for us to feel less anxious and to feel more calm and cool and collected. And that's really that's what it's all about, right? Okay, let's go on now and talk. How many body systems have we talked about? I think quite a few. I think we're going to talk a little bit about our digestive system, but we're going to talk about it specifically in terms of feelings of our stomach. How does our stomach feel when maybe when we get nervous or anxious? Sometimes we're home by ourselves and we feel a little bit anxious. Our stomach begins to start churning. We have some kind of thing that we need to do or go someplace, or we need to talk to someone. We need to have a conversation that's difficult. And all of a sudden our stomach is just doing flip-flops. Go for your ginger essential oil. Now, of course, if you have any sort of condition, including pregnancy for that matter, or maybe even sometimes during menstrual cycles, women will begin to feel a little bit nauseous or upset stomach, reach for your ginger oil. You can just, the wonderful thing is you don't have to ingest it if you don't want to. You can just apply it to your hands. You could sniff it right out of the bottle. If you would, you can apply it to your skin right over your abdomen, and it does help with nauseous feelings. When you ingest it with warm water or as an ingredient in tea, it's thought to aid in soothing indigestion and acidic reactions of our digestive system, which can be associated with nausea or upset stomach. And ginger itself does have inflammatory benefit, anti-inflammatory benefits. So if you suffer from any sort of inflammatory diseases, you might consider adding ginger essential oil into your daily routine. Now, I know I've talked a little bit about Dr. Michael Greger, who is one of these, I want to call him a health guru. He's kind of a fun guy. He's got podcasts and so on. But one of the things he talks about is adding ginger into your diet every day. Now, if you're not a person who likes to add ginger powder onto your food, you could include ginger essential oil. And I know that there have been some studies done with ginger essential oil as an ingredient with anti-inflammatory benefits. Okay, let's go on and talk about our respiratory system. Now, without all these systems, honestly, you wouldn't be alive. So if you need any of your essential oils to keep these systems running properly and for good general health, then absolutely you need essential oils to keep living, and you couldn't live without them, just like me. So our respiratory system is basically, it's an exchange of elements from the internal to the external world. And it's understood that we intake oxygen and we output carbon dioxide. All of this is kind of basic knowledge for everyone. But did we also know, or do we also realize that it's a movement of toxins? So when we inhale, we sometimes take in toxins. And when we exhale, we're able to get rid of those toxins and get them out of our body. Primary organs, of course, that we use are the lungs, right? But the skin is also included because we do, as we perspire in the form of perspiration, we do get rid of some of our toxins as well. Certain essential oils like peppermint, eucalyptus, melaleuca, and lemon. Now, I'm sure you're hearing a trend here because we're talking about some of the same essential oils, especially for general support of our body systems, can be excellent for our respiratory system. I like blends like Breathe or AirX, added into my daily routine, specifically in my diffuser. Lately, we've been having a lot of rain in my area and it's feeling a little bit stuffy in the house. So I've been adding Breathe into my rotation in my diffuser, really several days of just straight breathe, going day and day and day after day. And I like the way it refreshes the air and keeps that musty feeling, that heavy feeling out of the air. Now, we live very far from Louisiana, but we have seen sort of a very cloudy, musty front come through New Jersey. As you know, I'm in New Jersey. 3 days of almost no sunshine at all, but also no rain, which is interesting. And before that, days and days of rain. So it's kind of been a weird time. That can often promote that, just that heavy feeling. It's that decreasing the falling barometric pressure. We feel a little bit heavier. We want to make sure that we're lightening up the mood, right? And we want to make sure that as much as we can, if it's possible, to get out and get a little bit of a light and sunshine, but clear up the air, lighten it up, get those positive ions moving by diffusing your essential oils. Because of the nature of our respiratory system, essential oils, boom, it's a natural marriage of those two things, our respiratory system and essential oils. When used externally, when we diffuse essential oils in our space, we get an enormous boost because it is one of the few ways that we can actually affect our brain right through our olfactory system. So make sure you're diffusing your essential oils on a regular basis. I love peppermint oil, obviously, for my respiratory system as a quick 1-2 punch, but many of our other blends are super important to keep on hand. Even things like Deep Blue, which have a little bit of menthol, I find can often open up my airways if I really need them in a pinch. Sometimes I'll apply Deep Blue and I have a little bit left on my hands. I'll just do a little cup over my nose and mouth and breathe in, because it really does help to relax me and my muscles at the same time. Let's talk for a minute about peppermint oil. I know all know about peppermint oil. I'm not telling you anything new about peppermint oil, honestly, but did you know that potentially as harmful substances build up in our blood and in our respiratory system, we want to clear our nasal passages. And obviously peppermint is our #1 oil to do that. And that's going to increase our levels of oxygen. So by increasing our levels of oxygen, we basically bring in more clean and are able to exhale more dirty. So open up your airways as much as possible. Of course, you can add this into a cooling drink or just take a few peppermint beadlets. That's what I do all the time. Okay, I think we're almost at the end here. I've got there's my picture of peppermint, but I've got a respiratory checklist. I'm going to include them for you in the chat. So for a healthy respiratory system, and if you've got a specific blend that you like, please tell me in the chat. I want to make sure that I hear about it. If you've used something with great effect, my favorite things are the blends. I love the singles, but I also love the blends, and I want to make sure that we get to talk about the blends quite a bit. Okay. When we talk about essential oils, we also, I just mentioned this before, we want to talk about Deep Blue. Deep Blue keeps our body healthy and moving appropriately and properly. Massage therapists, athletes know about the physical benefits of essential oils. Deep Blue provides relief for aches and pains and maybe sports-related injuries. It's also antibacterial and antiviral. And I sometimes forget about that when we apply it. If we have some sort of a cut, we don't want to apply it directly to the cut, but really around, and those essential oils kind of seep through the skin around the area that's been injured to help really do the healing and use their antibacterial properties. I know I'm using my hands a lot today. Muscle pain and relief can also be provided by things like wintergreen, camphor, peppermint, ylang-ylang, helichrysum, blue tansy, the chamomile and chamomile oils. Many of these are oils that are in Deep Blue, but you can use them individually or apart to make sure that you're using an appropriate release system for yourself. I frequently add a couple of extra drops of either peppermint or wintergreen into my Deep Blue to make sure that it's really working well for me. But if I'm on the run, it's just straight Deep Blue. The Deep Blue rub is my absolute go-to. I don't use the packets as much on a regular basis. The only time I do use them is when I'm trying to really help people that are just not feeling well or have had an injury. Okay, let's talk about our digestive system. Digestion, one of my top favorites. I'm super lucky, I have to say. I don't get a lot of digestive issues. We've talked about, I think, 5 body systems already, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know who's counting, but if you are counting, let me know, because I think I have one more, which is after our digestive system. We're going to keep going. And I think that's actually our last ones. We want to promote digestion. Did you know that rose can actually help you with digestion? Because the geraniol in rose and thyme, actually, when used together, the thymol and the geraniol can be effective in suppressing pathogens in the small intestine with no concern for beneficial colonic bacteria in the gut. What does that basically mean? Use your thyme and your rose oil together over your stomach, over your intestines, to help you to really repair your intestines after you've had some sort of either a bout with a pathogen, or you think that you're feeling a little bit under the weather and that your gut in general may have been attacked by some sort of a pathogen. We're supporting our immune system in all different sorts of ways. I actually have never used thyme and rose oil together, but I read that study and was thinking, super interesting. I'm going to actually post about the study, the benefits of those two essential oils, in our chat. Lydia says, because I guess I forgot to mention this, that she loves cardamom also. And I think she's talking about for either respiratory relief or pain relief, both of those. And she says that deep blue rub is a must for her, that she's, I guess, having some discomfort in her knee, and she's been using it. So before we go, we leave digestion, or actually as we leave digestion, we're going to talk about some of the ways that essential oils finally can help our skin. So our skin includes, of course, our hair, our nails. There's a lot of different things that we want to support by using essential oils. I know one of them, of course, is hair health. This is a picture, I'm sorry, of the old shampoo. I didn't replace it with a new one, but we want to make sure that we're using our essential oils for healthy hair. Last but not least, last body system that we're going to support with essential oils is the intergumentary system. And that's our skin, hair, and nails. Just a fancy word for telling us about our skin, hair, and nails. We must consider our skin when we're talking about health. It's the largest organ of our body. It also includes, what I didn't realize, our endocrine glands, deals primarily with interactions from the exterior environment, protecting our organs from dangers, and also it can be easily affected by toxins, artificial fragrances, pollution, and other irritants. So treating our hair, skin, and nails with natural products like essential oils can help us maintain smoothness, brightness, just general skin health. I use essential oils on my skin every single day. In fact, right before I got on, I applied my moisturizing cream, my dōTERRA moisturizing cream, and I used my toner and my serums on a regular basis. Not right before I got on, but I did use the cream, and I brushed my teeth with the, all of those things are helping me to stay healthy on a general basis, reducing my toxic load. So all of those things make for a healthier life, I think, for me, and I know for all of you. And if you're listening to this presentation and you're thinking, can I live without it? Maybe I have lived without it before, but I shouldn't now. Absolutely contact the person who sent you this recording, and they will they'll be able to help you find essential oils that you're going to need for your general health. So let's talk a little bit about a quick cleansing skin scrub. You're going to need a couple of ingredients, not too hard. Let me know if you try it. It is super simple. If you're the type of person who likes skin scrubs, you can use it on a regular basis. We do have a skin scrub of our own, as you know, but things like lemon, lavender, and melaleuca smell really fresh. You can use it in your shower and then rinse it off. You want to put it in some sort of a container that will not be deteriorated by the essential oils, but I think because they're mixed with the coconut oil, you're going to be okay. And a sugar scrub, super popular. And when you buy them off the shelves, they can often be very, very expensive. Let's talk a little bit about oily skin. So you may have oily skin naturally, and you may think that the best thing to do is to just scrub it to death. To get rid of the oils, but actually the more we scrub the skin, the more we tend to bring out more oil. So we want to balance out our skin so we make sure that we have a healthy skincare regimen. We've talked a lot about the respiratory in the respiratory system, but we want to talk about that kind of interchange, the exterior and the interior, in the same way as just like the respiratory system with our skin. So we want to use our essential oils for their astringent properties and for their cleaning properties. So their cleaning properties, obviously, we're going to lift away dirt and take it away. And then astringent properties, we're going to help those pores to kind of close up a little bit and not produce as much oil. Just encourage them. And we're going to do this two ways. Number one, we're going to dilute our citrus oils if we are using them on the face. Number two is we're going to make sure that we're not using them in the morning because they are photosensitive. We want to make sure that we're not using them and then going out into the sun. Not a great idea. If you're going to use your citrus oils on your face, for their astringent properties. Use them at night before you go to bed. And then when you wake up in the morning, if you're ladies, if you're applying makeup, in those 12 hours or so between your night and your morning, you'll be absolutely ready to go. My beginners trio, we've always talked about these, targeting specific aches and pains, creating and relieving feelings of distress, creating a bright, energetic home environment, boosting skin and health. You can use these 3 essential oils for just about any sort of solution. We want to help you get started if you're new to this presentation. Please refer to the person who invited you to this or sent you this recording. So if you've stumbled on this recording, obviously you want to make sure that you're contacting me, and I'll make sure that you get started right away. But if someone sent you this recording, please refer to them, go back to them and say, hey, that was a really cool presentation. I really learned a lot. Let me know how I can get started if you haven't used essential oils in the past. Any questions? We have so many essential oils at our disposal. I think we are kind of at the end of our presentation, but I think, or I hope that by now I've convinced you that yes, you cannot live without essential oils. And if you've been living without them for a while, now's the time to get started. If you're a dyed-in-the-wool user of essential oils, you know the answer is no, you can't live without them. I can't live without them. They are a really wonderful addition to my life. And I have to say, support me and my family in so many different ways. And all of our body systems, as one of our members of our chat said before, from the scalp or from the top of her head to the tips of her toes, she's using essential oils to support all of her body systems. So this is kind of a fun way for us to look at all of our body systems. Eliana says, thanks to you for all the DIY recipes. If you are on YouTube, we're going to be posting them below. So don't despair if you can't see them right now during the presentation. You can just go to the bottom and you can go, oops. I guess that's the, yeah, there we go. Why dōTERRA, finally. We know that dōTERRA is just the purest, the best, and it is a company that really cares about us. So between producing things that the customer really wants and needs, to making sure that their community outreach is strong, that they're working hand in hand with so many different organizations to make sure, to ensure the safety, not just of their consumers, but of people around the world. That worldwide focus is an important one. And I am really grateful not only to be using dōTERRA essential oils, to be able to share them with you. And I'm so grateful that all of you were here today. So thank you so much for having been here. Have a wonderful week and get out there and find yourself some dōTERRA essential oils. If you haven't yet, you do really need them to stay alive. Okay, see you real soon. Okay, everyone, I'm going to stop the share, and I'm also going to stop the recording. There we go.